Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome everybody, and thank you for being here. It really, like, looking out and seeing everybody's faces, it's really nice to have you guys all here. And I know this is somewhat unconventional and maybe even a little morbid and crazy, a cat pet funeral, but it means a lot that you made it a priority to be here this evening. Each of you were invited because you were a part of my life and part of Alexandra's life, and I wanted to be able to share this with you guys. So Thanksgiving weekend, 1998, my dad and stepmother, who were both here, brought home Nicholas and Alexandra, two kittens named after the last emperor and empress of Russia in the late 1800s to early 1900s. Alexandra Fedorovna was most well known for her uncanny ability to influence men, most notably influencing her husband's resistance to the surrender of the autocratic authority over Russia, which ultimately led to her death along with her entire immediate family while in Bolshevik captivity. I am thinking. Anyway, I grew up as an animal person, but had never felt any overt love for cats until Alexandra showed up and chose me. She was the risk taker between the two of them, showed a great deal of independence and wit, as she was the first one to tackle the stairs, the house plants, and sneaking out of the house only to be assaulted by a bullfrog. I went back and forth between my mom and dad's house, and Alex let it be known right off the bat that when I was gone, she wanted nothing to do with the rest of the family. She only wanted me. I was her girl. She slept pathetically alone on my bed, waiting for me to return. That was 20 years ago in 1998. Fast forward to May 2018. I returned home from a vacation to learn that my steady companion had liver cancer. She had intestinal cancer, and she had pancreatitis. My precious lady was down to 8 pounds from where she had held steady at 10 for 4 years after being diagnosed with early stages of kidney failure. At her peak, my Sports Illustrated model weighed in at a voluptuous 16 pounds. She was a magnificent Amazon, just like her mother. When I lifted Alexandra, her old bones and joints crackled, but still she nuzzled me all night and all day for as long as I could hold her. We got the diagnosis and were told that we had a few days at best. She fought for me though. She knew I wasn't ready, and so she gave me 13 of the most gut-wrenching but earnest days that she could muster. In those days, we said our goodbyes to many special friends, some of you here. We talked, we danced, we prayed, I begged, I denied, I fought, but we loved. On May 13th, Alexandra told me it was her time to go. I knew it was coming for 13 days, but was still not prepared for the conclusion coming to fruition. Messaging our vet and dear friend, Dr. Cutler, on that Sunday morning, Mother's Day, broke my heart open. I couldn't even admit it to Joe. I eventually handed him my phone to read the messages himself. I spent those last hours asking for Alexandra's forgiveness, the forgiveness for making this decision. I spent it thanking her for being my best and most loyal friend. I spent it telling her everything she meant to me each and every year she was by my side. I know everyone here has said goodbye to a pet and felt various degrees of pain, but I can only speak for myself when I say the pain of that moment, the many moments. Giving Dr. Cutler the nod to proceed, the moment I felt her last deep breath against my chest, the moment I let her go, and the moment I walked away. No words. We can have a drink or something. In the hours and days after, my pain morphed into various versions of physical and mental. I felt like a piece of my body and my being had been taken from me. Alexandra wasn't just a cat. She was my life, and she was my history. Having her made that real. In 20 years, a great deal happens. Think about any 20-year span of your own life. Now think if there was one loved one, person or animal, that was there every step of the way. Alexandra was with me the first time I fell in love and the first time I had my heart broken. She was with me for my high school and college graduations. She was with me as I transitioned from my childhood home into my early adulthood rentals, and with me with the purchase of my first home. She was with me when I got married, when I broke someone else's heart, and when I went through a divorce. She was with me when I was fired from a job, with me when I started my career in accounting, and by my side when I became a partner of my current firm. She was with me when I found Wiley, and with me when we lost Wiley. I recently read this quote: "Her ears were often the first thing to catch my tears." That couldn't ring any more true. Her velvet ears caught every tear I shed for 20 years. She accepted all of my weaknesses to make me strong for every other aspect of my life. Alexandra was never one to shy away from the dramatics either. Aside from surviving the bullfrog attack in Maryland, in 2005, she fell 50 feet from my third-story window on Broad Street. Obviously, she didn't die. A single minor fracture and some serious bumps and bruises, but she was alive. A couple years later, in 2007, I felt a tiny bump on her shoulder. The vet, after first inspection, said it was most likely nothing, that old cats and dogs can grow moles or fatty tissue deposits as they age. I insisted on knowing for sure, thank God, because it ended up being a mast cell tumor, which is a terribly painful and fatal cancer. After immediate surgery, 18 Frankenstein staples, and a couple of weeks of tuna fish in bed, she was just fine. She went on to live as an insulin-dependent diabetic for 2.5 years, receiving shots twice daily. A diet more expensive than Hall's and encouraged exercise got her off the insulin and down a few sizes. As Dr. Cutler can attest to, and as many of you witnessed over the years, I tackled Alexandra's health care as aggressively as possible to predict and prevent as many ailments as we could. I took a lot of heat from both family and friends on the time, effort, and money put into her well-being. But look who was right in the end. As a result of that diligence, she lived to be almost 20 years old. She was healthy, comfortable, and happy until the very end. She continued to love us. She continued to enjoy being a part of the family. She enjoyed talking to us, bullying the dog, knocking things off our nightstands in the middle of the night. We didn't drag her time out. We didn't keep her suffering. She told me when she was ready, and I gave her the respect and dignity she deserved and honored her very last wish of me. While we are all gathered here today because of Alexandra, I want this to be about more than just a celebration of her life and our life together. I want to remember and honor all of our pets that we have loved and lost over the years. Each of us breezes through life day in and day out, putting our needs first, while our pets continue to take the back seat. We are 100% of their lives. They wake and breathe to serve and love us and deserve so much more than we give them. We justify every time we close the door in their face. When it comes down to it, people are just not good enough or deserving enough to have pets at their convenience. We all selfishly do. I own a driven working dog and have forced her into a life of office work and herding waves, all because when it's convenient for me, I wanted a border collie. As I wrap this up, I want to thank each of you for being here to support me and show your love by treating this with respect and seriousness. This is what she deserves and what each of your loved ones deserve. For the pets that are still with us and at home right now, I ask one more thing of you. Go home and love them. Spend the extra time, be patient, make them more comfortable, inconvenience yourself for them. And for the pets we lost, let's remember them. Let's shed a tear for them. Let's share laughter and memories for them. They deserve it. In conclusion, I had hoped to have you each join me in releasing a lantern into the sunset, but effective Tuesday evening, the Charleston Fire Department shut me down. In lieu of Chinese lanterns, let's each take a sparkler light it up, and remember our last pets. Thank you.